Hey everybody, good to see you all here, nice and quick. Wish I can get everything else done just as quick. Alright, just gonna put this 1707 back together and fingers crossed it actually works. Holy crikey, it's full of crap. Right, guess we'll just get the heatsink back on first. Everything's way out of control. There's just too many jobs that I'm not getting through. I gotta start getting a lot more ruthless when it comes to no fix scenarios. Unfortunately, it's not. Well, it's something you can start doing straight away, but you still have to get through the backlog of what you haven't sorted out prior. Okay, that's good enough there. And I'm starting to get some cranky emails, and well deserved to be honest, because it's been far too long. I'm not at all begrudging the people sending the emails. I think I said I pretty much well deserved them. It just means I've got to try and catch up. What is going on here? My brain. There we go. Jessica, Andrew, Travis, James, Byron, Barry. Everybody's here. Jim. Alright. Yeah, this one actually. The other problem is that I get machines in for the day, and because the other ones that I'm having dramas with, they're taking too long and things like that, or I'm waiting on parts and stuff like that. So I attack the new ones because I think, well, I can't do anything with the ones that I'm waiting on parts or some sort of magical solution. But the trouble is, what often happens is about 50%, at least 50% of the new ones that come in, they also end up having something that I've got to wait on or I can't solve straight away. And so they just actually make the problem worse. So, what's not helping is that the room is very limited here, and I very much am beyond capacity. I did already turn away 2 jobs today. James, you missed a tornado. Lucky you. Yeah, those things scare me a lot more than cyclones. I mean, cyclones can do a lot of damage, but it's more of a widespread type damage than an acute focus type damage. You having troubles as well, Byron, trying to keep up? Yeah. And I mean, I'm not even getting time to try out new repair techniques, or there's things I see on the Mac Repair forum or the Facebook group that I want to do and try, but I've got to find time to practice them. I can't just whip it out and try it on some person's personal machine, so I've got to do that on my own. Alright, it's a little bit offset there, that's okay. This one came in with a colossal amount of, it was like the whole, where is it? It was like this entire chicken wing had been dunked into some awful substance. Hey Andre. I really didn't think I was going to fix this one, but I got lucky and it came through. Things like 1706s, 1707s are particularly this sort of era, and things with CD 37, was it 3217s? They're all the main culprits for a lot of these failures. Funnily enough, likewise now I'm getting a greater number of 2011, 2012 type machines that are piling up, and they're usually starting to look more and more like oh crap, what have I done? They're more and more starting to show up as things like PCH failures and things like that, just basically old age fatigue issues on those older boards. So I do have a heating platform coming, and I'm going to start seeing if I can do just start out just trying to do some PCH replacements for the old machines. May or may not be successful. I mean, they are fairly hefty units, those PCHs on the older units, compared to say these things, which are quite a bit easier in terms of thermal control with getting them off compared to the old PCHs. Any suggestion of software you're using for repairing tracking barcodes? Um, William Vasco, I ended up writing my own software. If you've got a bit of a hand at things like PHP and database stuff, then it's not that hard to write your own. The nice thing is you can integrate it in with whatever accounting software you're using. Alright, that looks okay. Hey, Electronic Workshop. I do have boards to repair today, so that will happen. I just need to get these ones cleared out. I mean, I need the shelf space to start with. Alright, so these fans are horrendously choked. So we're going to put the extractor on full. Hey, Haroldo, is it? From Portugal? Hello. Yeah, there you go. There's the other options. There's plenty of free management systems like that out there. Maybe some of them aren't quite perfect, but maybe you can throw a few dollars at the creators and see if they can tweak it to your needs. The first pole vaulting competition. Well, that's pretty cool. Alright, I'm just worried about these connectors down here. Yeah, that's okay. Fortunately, they're not damaged, but that will need a bit of a just clean that junk away. That's the on-off power switch. And for that, I will use some 80/20 because I know that it's got some sort of water-soluble content in it. So yeah, that cleaned up nicely. Yep. Whereas if I'd just used near 100% alcohol, that wouldn't have come up. It just would have sort of stayed there on the... Actually, I might pull that USB connector out and have a look at it. Notice there's a little bit of liquid around that. They're not great, but they're actually pretty good. They're not, how could I say, they're not pitted or corroded. They've just got a bit of scum around them. Bit of rebel scum. And now I've got to wonder where my toothbrush is. I had it like 20 minutes ago. No toothbrush? Alright. Ooh, snow. We got rain today. I was happy to get rain today. And the nice thing is it wasn't too much and it wasn't too aggressive. We all do generally want, some rain, but it's quite terrifying when it pounds down so hard that you think the roof's going to cave in. Or when it leaves you with so much water that you think you're going to flood. Stuff like that's a little bit... drives the anxiety a little bit. especially after you've been flooded a few times. There you go. These are good. Hey Keith, what's that? Adverts stopped you getting into the live stream. Seriously? Hey Eric. Eric. Oh, by the way, Eric, yeah, I did get your email. I just haven't had a chance to respond to much today. But thank you for that. Thank you for persisting with that AMD OpenGL issue. I don't know what it is, but there does seem to be the occasional system with an AMD chipset, graphics chipset, and it doesn't play nice with the flex board view. Hey Miles. I'm going to remember to put these rubber pieces on, because otherwise you usually remember right as you get towards the end of reassembling the whole machine, and you then have a crisis of conscience and wonder whether you should take it all apart, do it properly, or pretend that it never happened and send it back. Alright. Okay, let's get this thing in. The other thing you can do is catch that Wi-Fi. Just realised I nearly didn't put in the other USB. So many of these things that you can waste so much time on during the day when you muck it up the first time. It's quite a challenge to chat on chat and not get distracted enough that I'll stuff up something. So, has Lewis done any board repairs recently? Because I don't know, I just don't catch any of his stuff anymore. Or is he all doing the right to repair stuff now? It feels very strange to not be in some sort of constant abuse from him. Gotcha. Only right to repair now. Okay. And I know he's bored of it, but I hope he will have a occasional guest appearance sort of thing. Otherwise I'm going to have to find a way to catch up with him with his right to repair stuff. Certainly I think one of the things that I have to work on, and I've said this before, is how to, or to, let me think. How to convey to manufacturers that it's okay to produce board views, and that they can produce a board view with very limited amount of information that's still exceptionally useful to us, but protects them from revealing too much intellectual property. I want to be able to placate their concerns about intellectual property theft and things like that. It's bad enough that they'd be worrying about their budget, given that people are repairing things, but if they're forced by law, then the next thing they're going to worry about is their intellectual property. Let's see. Wow, someone really mangled these up. Hey, Rilla. AAPL, yep. Because I know that when I first started coming into dealing with board views and things like that, it was actually quite a strange concept. Because most of the time I was just used to, you had your schematics and then you had your silk screen on the board. And that was pretty much all we needed for, well, most of the time. But now that we've become used to board views and then integrating that with PDFs so that you can do your cross examination of things, it's very hard to now repair without having that information. Your brain actually almost goes on a blockade, a union blockade, if you try to repair something without both board view and schematic. It's like, whoa, we don't do that around here anymore. So, what do you think we are? Some kind of chumps? Well, Andre, I think the problem is that when it comes to these sort of companies, in terms of the legal departments and whatnot, they will see pretty much anything that they have created as being uniquely their intellectual property. They don't specifically understand that simply because they understand that how you place it on the board isn't specifically some sort of trade secret. I mean, there are a couple of times where that sort of thing can be the case, but in these sort of modern circuits, 90% of your intellectual property is probably in your firmware and in the way you've done the routing. And so if we can say, look, you don't even need the routing information there or the inner layers. We just want where the parts are, what networks are on the pins, and that's really it. With just those two key bits of information, you can build a board view that allows you to repair the boards substantially easier. But I suppose from their perspective, again, it gets back to the bean counters, and they say, well, if they've got that information, they can fix them, therefore we won't sell as many units, etc., etc. It's going to be a pretty tough slog, no matter how we go about it. Oh, why does this feel like that's a T5? Jim, let's see. Oh, okay. Well, guess we'll see how we go. Hopefully I won't make a complete donkey of myself. Hey, Alexi. Yeah, the paranoia is very strong. Because a lot of it also comes from the fact that in the older days, we're talking like let's say pre mid 90s, where most things were perhaps two layer boards, then, oh sorry, and there weren't really things like firmware or, microcontrollers. Everything was more discrete parts or fixed function ICs. And so if you did have the schematic and you had a board view, you almost pretty much had the entire product. All you had to do was set the auto router to go crazy, and a short while later you'd have a product that wasn't too dissimilar in theory to your competitors. But now with the advent of 4+ layer boards, impedance matching, tracers, all that sort of stuff, then the importance of the placement and the schematic isn't quite as it doesn't have the same weight anymore. But yeah, certainly in the past, how you placed components, I mean it still does now, but how you place components and the routing, it was a bit of a black art, particularly with things like trying to minimize noise and things like that. Hey Pierre, Jim Allen, Ismail. G'day Mark, how's it going? Viceberg got it alive, managed to get the data off. What was that for, Mark? Sorry, I'm not retaining much at the moment with everything going on. What was that for? Right. Oh, better put the Wi-Fi cables in. When was your last vacation? That would have been 2000 and... Crikey. 2001 down to Tasmania for 4 days for my honeymoon. That was my last vacation. So it is now 20 years since I had a vacation. A willing vacation, as it were, as opposed to, well, there's no work coming in. Sit around, do nothing. Wow, someone's really mashed up these cables. That's pretty bad. The A1530. Oh, right. Well, I'm glad to hear it worked then. Thank goodness for that. Yeah, because it's probably about 30% chance you get the data off those at the moment. Andre, it's been a long slog with a lot of issues. Yeah, a tremendous number of issues. And fortunately, I have sort of now gotten over, or we've resolved most of those things, and now, managed to buy the house. So that's a huge piece of foundation in my life sorted out. So hopefully things will get better now. I personally don't need to take a holiday away from here to feel rejuvenated or anything like that. I'm more than happy to be here, but I do need to be able to back off the intensity of the work, because at the moment I get up, first thing I do, check, see what the logs are on, see what fires have started overnight, see who I'm going to have to jump up and down for, and like I said, respectfully so. Oh, come on, give me 20 volts, you mongrel. Oh no, you're not giving me 20 anymore? You're kidding me. Why didn't I check this before I reassembled it? Yeah, this is just the sort of trash that I need in my daily life. You gotta be kidding, I can't believe this. Yep, just after I assembled it all. I knew I should have tested it. All I can imagine is another 3215s decide to go bonkers on me. Hey Walter, yeah, you got the COVID jab. Do you know which one you got? God damn. And the worst thing is that I should have got the data off it. We'll just do a quick disconnect and see if it is any peripheral that's pulling it down. I don't think it is though. Because that 20 volts should come up prior to pretty much anything. Oh no, looks like I stand corrected. We're up to 20 volts now. And we're up to 1.5 amp. So I'm just gonna... The thing is, are we actually gonna boot, or is it just gonna be some... I've had a number of machines lately where they come back up to 20 volts. They pull an amp and a half or an amp. cool. But then they don't ever come back to life. They just sit there and they spin, they spin, they spin. Alright, so that does work. The battery wasn't connected originally, so I can't blame that. So it's either... It could well be keyboard in this case. Oh, wow, yeah. Look at all this liquid damage here. This isn't... This is not part of the background. This is liquid damage. That's pretty bad. Okay, now we've got to work out what's actually causing it. So we'll just go through, plug in things, and see at which point that we lose the 20 volts. I really need to make a brighter version of this. Okay, 20 volts is good on the trackpad. This is the touch bar. Touch bar is good. Keyboard, anyone want to bet on that? Especially given the screen's all botched up. No, keyboard's good. Running out of options here. Okay, what do you actually do? You're just the audio jack. Yeah. On-off button. It looks like it's our on-off button. Which still sucks because it really means I've got to take the board out. So we can replace that, but I've got to take the board out. Flippity my day. What I might do is actually say to the person, because this is a business-to-business job, I might say to them, you know, the button needs replacing. Do you want to do it, or do you want me to do it? So I'm going to charge you more because I've done my part. The board actually functions. Yeah. What do you want to do? I'll just leave that on-off button there. If you put that screen in the oven exactly 143 Celsius for 52 minutes precisely, you'll destroy it. Can I go slightly higher? Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. I'd say in this case... I just want to see if it now does boot again. Yeah, it looks like we are up and running. Alright, so we know this is functioning. Yeah, trackpad's good. Screen is complete shite. But I already do budget repairs, as it were, for this particular client for certain reasons. And I think I'm just going to say to him, I've done my bit here. I actually went above and beyond already to get this fixed. You can change that home button, thank you very much. Hey Sinclair, an ASIO. Yeah, keeping your nerves is quite a fun thing, isn't it? Alright, next one I've got to deal with in a rush is... This is another typical Murphy's situation. I sold this person one of my 1466s because I like 5 or 6 1466s around the place, and I figured I only need 1 or 2. And this thing I'd been using for 18 months. It's my compiler machine, the one I build Flexboard View on. And 3 days, and all of a sudden I get this call tonight, and it's the machine's dead. And I thought, what? And yeah, sure enough, it wouldn't take MagSafe. And then when I did eventually get to take MagSafe, I plugged it into the screen, and there's no backlight. So somehow everything's just gone wrong with this board. So instead of fixing that for them, I'm just going to find a replacement board, throw it in there. They're not having my i7 1.7. That's an extremely precious board to me, and I'm never going to give that one up today. Yeah, it's the only. Okay, what have we got here? Yeah, that one I don't understand what's going on with. Where is my stack of machines? Ah, there we go. Yeah, I've got a 3437. It's an i7 1.7 gigahertz unit. It's like I've never had one of those before, so that's I'm not giving that one up. That one's mine. Okay, so we've got a 1.44 3437. Yeah, it's not super great, but it's not terrible either. 1.6. This one's had an SMC replacement. Paul can't read the thingamajig on it. Well, you never see me stand up. Makes me question how long you've been watching these. Another 1.44. This one's got some pretty nasty damage up there. This probably should be a donor board by the looks of it. This one here is one of those boards that, you know how I was saying you get that fault. Yeah, it's a 165. Where the 165 it spins up, but then about 10 seconds later it shuts down and then spins back up and never sort of comes alive. So yeah, that's one of those, and I sort of want to work out what's causing that, but not today. A 1.34. Oh shoot, no, that's pretty much a donor board. So I would say the 1.44. 1.64. Why have you got... What I might do is actually see if this really does have a backlight failure or whether it's a bad screen. It's gonna be very sucky if it's a bad screen. It's not the sort of thing you want. Okay, what are you? You're an unknown. Hello, computer boards. What have you got here for me? Ooh, we've got some more boards. These look actually to be slightly better. That's a 1.34 though. Ah, Warren, looks like you know about the birthdays around here. Unfortunately, no. No, nothing really was done. And I feel bad about that, but I am somewhat limited at this point. Alright, I want to see if this one goes. This looks the cleanest. We'll give it a trial, see if it even boots. Well, I think I just want to get a working board for them. I don't want to subject them to the maybe it works, maybe it doesn't scenario. Mostly because it was completely dead when I got it from them, but then it started working, and I'm like, great, that's what I need. Intermittent monster. Midnight yeah, I make the midnight toasty. Come on, give me a green blink. Groen blink alsjeblieft. Well, that didn't look good at all. Oh wait, it's 34, 37. Should have powered up by now though. And it's getting awful warm under there. That took its time. Right, put it into the chassis. See if we actually have a backlight. Oh, screen gate. Who has done a flex gate? I see it's becoming a bit of a popular thing to do. I saw it was posted up on one of the Facebook groups, and I do have a machine here that is actually a FlexGate machine, but I was just going to replace the screen outright, but then it's a 1708 machine. But then my supply of the 1708 just vanished, and which was not very good. I got one in, it was no good. I sent it back, and they refunded me, so that was great. But then that was the end of it. No one's got any more for me. It's a space grey one. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. I think I'll still try and find them one, like a genuine, new replacement. At least I'm pretty sure that was what was going on with it. This is the other problem is even though I have a tracking system in my head, I also try to keep track of everything. That just doesn't work. Absolute nightmare to do. Yep, that's pretty much the summary. That was what I was expecting to hear. Thank you for your honesty there, Walter. There was no Heisenberg uncertainty there. That was straight out. And no, I'm not confusing that with Schrodinger. Right, you lost all your taste from the COVID jab? That's a little bizarre. Hopefully you didn't end up catching COVID as you got the jab. That can happen. In fact, that's often what happens when when people say that they got some disease by getting the vaccine, but what it actually was is it was just an unfortunate coincidence, and statistically it's likely to happen, whereby you actually do pick up the disease just prior to the vaccine becoming effective in you. And so from your point of view, the shock gave you the disease. But it's not actually the case. Find the woman across the road attractive and I'm wearing... oh no, you're wearing flares. Oh geez, back to the 70s. You're doomed, Walter. I'll hold off using that. I see the joke now. You lost all your taste, now you find them attractive and you're wearing flares. Can't keep track of everybody's humour. Yeah, I should know you by now. But it is late. And that's going to be my excuse for the night. Okay. Okay, let's see if we actually get a backlight on this. Or whether we've got a dud screen, which will be hellishly unfortunate for me. No. Nah, this board's got issues. Yeah, voltmeter and stuff. Sorry, I haven't got that up and running. This thing's running at about 1/10 the speed it should be. Well, that's because it's got an EFI lock on it. Ooh. Should we make that our project for the night? Get rid of the EFI lock. Mind you, I don't know how to on these ones. And I'm really not inclined to search the internet right now. It's too late at night, okay? So I will find out, but that will explain why it's misbehaving. Very simple is relative. It's very simple if you know how to do it. I mean, as you know, I did do it for the, what was it, the 1278 the other night. What is it? Just read the BIOS, erase SVS from the file, and you're good to go. Is that it? Is that it? You don't have to do any other trickery like you do on the 1286s or the way we had to the other night. 1278 rather. Wait. See, the 1278 we did the other night, we had to clear the BIOS, and we had to hold down the NVRAM reset to make sure it went through 3 cycles and all that sort of stuff. Right, so it is a little more. Yeah, see, that's why I can't risk listening to people on the internet. Oh, the chip thing's not a problem. I mean, geez, I always am unmounting chips. Alright, tell you what. There's people here saying you just erase the SVS section and saying it should work. So if I do that, you're saying it should work. And if it doesn't, what are you going to give me? What are you going to give me if I go through all that and it doesn't work? And it just reverts back to being locked. Because, I mean, it's no drama to me to remove this chip and, you know, read it, clear out the SVS section. Year supply worth of ice cream. You guys are getting serious with your temptations, aren't you? Just a shame I can't have ice cream anymore. What do I give him if he's right? He gets exposure, fame and exposure. How's that? That's exactly what Lewis Rossman offers me. So that's what I offer in as well. I think it's fair. Yeah, fair. Of course it's fair. So now we've got someone throwing in that you do have to do the 3-bar frame reset. And no, I don't really care about using flux right now. Because I'm really hoping I really don't want to have to ultrasonic this again. Yeah, it's been off, but not for the purpose of erasure. Oh, that's right, it's 1466, so we're going to go this side. Ah, Philly, I melted that. Oh well. Not like I actually use those prototyping boards. Oops. Just need to see what chip this is. What are you? 25 QO64. I've forgotten the brand of that one. Walter, I think it's their loving nature. Actually, we do pretty good with ours here, really. I shouldn't complain, because ours have been pretty good. Okay, let's watch me completely decimate my system. Yeah, by shoving a random USB in a random port and hoping for the best. Well, it's all blinky blinky, so that's a good start. I think it'll be the MX one, I think. Think. Shut you down. No. We'll try it. Nope. Oh, there we go. That's right, I remember now. It actually tells you which chip it is. Although it's not an SOIC8. Hey, Warren. Oh, Damaris is here. Hello, Damaris. Good to see you, NE555. It does seem to take a little while to read these BIOSes, but there is a way I can make it quicker, but I really don't do it often enough to, yeah. Edward, I really don't know. Though usually you can get online, if you put in the wrong code 3 times or something, it gives you a some other code, and then you can go to the website and actually get the unlock code for it. Hey, Bretmore. Jim, sorry to hear you're on the tired and ulchy phase. That's really... I was hoping things would be getting better for you with the removal of the obstruction, the whatever it was that you had. Alright. Wait, it's not SIS I'm after, it's SVS, you moron. Close enough. Close enough. Okay. Now, as far as I know, I should actually be able to just zero out these bytes, right? Jim's your normal stuff. Bummer, mate. Bummer. Yeah, as far as I know, I can just zero this stuff out, right? Max is 11. There we go. Basil, Sorry to say, every time I say Basil, I think of Faulty Towers. Replace the whole section with Fs. There's a lot of sections there. What are you talking about? Okay, you're right. Yeah, there's another one there. What? I possibly should have changed the serial number of it and then changed the checksum. Just in case it goes online and says, hey, I'm serial number such and such, should I be blocked? Funny enough that I've heard people say that you can just actually kill one character of that SVS section and it will do the same effect. We'll find out. I'm gonna try it. Your wife is a copy of Civil Faulty. Ah, shame, man. I mean, didn't let's see, John Cleese ended up with the other woman, the maid, the assistant. What? Where's Oscar? Yeah, I know what you're saying, Chris, and I know what Oscar's saying, but like I said, I have heard that you can actually just really only need to kill one digit or one character, and supposedly it will also work. Polly, thank you very much from the ashes. Yes. Connie Booth, that was the name, yep. Anyway, so we're just experimenting. So if it doesn't work, I'll take it back off and do it again, but I'm kind of curious because I have heard people say you can just change that one character and it'll be good to go. For some reason, the writing is rather slow compared to the read in this instance. Oh well. So what have I actually got here? Oh, this is not 80. What are you? Mega 88. Crikey. Oh, I know what this was. This is me prototyping the little LED chip on glass LCD displays that I have. The little 2x8 ones, matrix ones. And this is just a mounting board so that I could put it into this breadboard and then do all my coding on this. I very, very rarely use prototype boards like this. I find it's just easier to spin up the board best I can, throw in enough debug or test points where I can, and give it a whirl. If it doesn't work, spin another board. Basil, they're all good. Yep. Just they're getting a little bit cramped, to be honest. We're all a little bit cramped, but hopefully soon they'll be over in about another 6 weeks. Max 77. Why do I think that's perhaps dodgy? Are you spamming? Sounds spammy to me. Doesn't sound legit. Yeah, it's not long, 6 weeks, but it feels like a long time. When you're coming at, it's kind of like when you've dived down deep in water and you're holding your breath, and you do pretty good holding your breath right up until you sort of get to that last meter or two, and that's when you feel like you're just going to explode and you can't make it, and you got to fight that urge to breathe in the ocean water. So that's kind of how it feels at the moment. Let's let's get T Max 77 out of here. There we go. And naturally YouTube's not responding. Yep. Come on, it's like 470 degree. Thank you. You gotta whinge at these things to make them do their job properly. Alright, now I will add a very small amount of flux. To be honest, that looks kind of lead-free-ish. Should do the trick. Except when someone's left a flippin' massive Hershey's Kiss at the back end there. Still didn't fix it, Paul. I mean, obviously it's going to get reflowed, but when it comes to positioning it, it can be right. I think I've got a dag under here. Well, let's just throw the heat on it and let it do its thing. Takes a surprising amount of heat to get these chips down. Walter, what? Anyway, like I said, we're just trying to find out whether this eliminating the SBS couple of characters is enough or whether we need more. If we need more, then so be it. If we don't, then great, we're ahead. I just wanted to find out. 3 by pram. Make sure I connect the keyboard. can be a hellishly funny thing when you forget to connect the keyboard and you've got to do something that needs the keyboard straight away, like a pram reset. That's what I was looking for. Well, this is going to be, without question, very shonky. So I'm going to pinch off those Wi-Fi leads, but I also don't want them dancing around while I'm doing this. Yeah. Sorry, I can't do it how I quite wanted, but should have had a bong by now. It is beating, we're holding at 660. $500. Okay, I'm not getting any of the normal sort of response I would expect. In fact, everything's kind of odd. Yep, that was just downright weird. Did I forget something? Steven van Zundert. Active in IT and repair for 25 years. But now I am sick and nothing I can do for better. That's not good. You mean you can't get better? In which case, that's not nice. I don't know exactly what happened here because we didn't get any bongs at all, and I've got the speaker in. We do have CPU activity, according to the chipmunk. But I would say something's certainly not happy about that EFI, so fair enough. We'll just do it again. Screen did flash. I honestly didn't see it. Oh, here we go. Wow, this thing really is running at like 1/3 the speed it should. It'd be interesting to see what... I'll put the MRI on it and see what the MRI says. Yeah, very handy to have the MRI. It can let you know what's going on. The screen definitely did energize, yes. Hey, Tony W. It's a trackpad good? Won't be able to tell until it boots up a bit more. But yeah, that's painfully slow. So either I've got a sensor failure, I got something. Anyway, we'll find out. Steven, that's pretty flippin' tragic, really. It's always sad when your career options are taken from you like that. Oops. Do not put the finger in the fan. Oops. Paul caused the fan to stall. Oh, come along already. No, mate, you're taking too long. I'll just put the MRI in because at least they'll get us straight to our answers. Hopefully. Yeah, extremely slow is an understatement. Normally you wouldn't. Normally that sort of speed crunch doesn't tend to happen till after it's gotten through post. I wouldn't say the fan is at max, no. Yeah, it looks like it's running at a fairly decent. Hmm. We'll see what the MRI has to say. Oh, you crap. Yeah, okay. Bluetooth and Wi-Fi failed. That's understandable because they are not installed. So you can't be all judgy about it because of that. And it has locked up. Oh no. Testing battery. Trackpad's not working. Yeah. Let's see if I've got another trackpad cable. I should have a number of them. Except where I've stolen them from other. Crap. Ah. Why do I steal stuff from myself all the time? Though I'm a little shocked because, like I said, I've been using this chassis for the last 18 months as my compile machine. Now all of a sudden it decides it's having a bad day. Yeah, it's definitely not functioning. Okay. I'm probably going to guess that there's actually maybe something wrong with the keyboard interface on this board. Either that or I didn't plug it in properly. Either that or someone spilled junk on the trackpad. Wouldn't be the first time. Seems like it's doing the same crap. Yeah. It's a very long period of time between when yeah, the 34, 37 is supposed to be spin, stop, spin, stop, spin. Well, that second stop spin section takes an exceptionally long time. Yeah, this one actually came up. Leader Game 6, I've been working on PC laptops a bit more the last couple of weeks simply because the local people have been bringing them to me. And I've got to say, after you've been using the MacBook like metal chassis systems for quite a while and you go back to a PC plastic chassis, you really notice the painful difference. Really do. Okay, what have we got? Okay, this is looking maybe a bit better now. I have got a Acer. What is it? Yeah, last night I was doing a plastic welding refurbishment on a keyboard, and that was pure, utter madness. I don't even know if this is going to work yet. Yeah, I just dropped something into the abyss. Yeah, when people complain about Apple being difficult to work on, they really should have a look at a lot of the PC stuff. Like the trend now to have a monolithic deck, so that basically the keyboard is integrated and welded into the plastic of the palm rest deck on the PCs. It is extremely frustrating. At least with the Macs, you can pull it out and put screws in place of the rivets, but the PCs, I've had to go along with the hot air gun at the right temperature and size and actually soften that plastic on each of the nipples, pull it up, but then I've still got to work out how to get it back down, because when you drag the keyboard off those softened sections, they have a tendency to just sort of like to mushroom back out, so it's a major pain. Alright, so what have we got here? Well, okay, that's weird. I kind of wonder whether that's just bad luck on that or something. Yeah, that's good. That's yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, I'm going to plug this back in because, like I said, I've been using that for ages. Leader games, pretty much all PC laptops now. I'll show you this one in particular. This is a Ryzen 5 based laptop, so it's not a cheap piece of junk or anything. It's someone paid decent money for this thing. And unfortunately in their case what happened is ants got into the keyboard, and the ants have done something on the traces of the keyboard such that it's very bizarre. You actually have to keep pressing enter to keep it booting. Okay. Alright, so this is the construction. So here you have your plastic frame. So now, like on the MacBooks, this is a bit of aluminium, and so it's a little more durable. And then on that, you have your keyboard insert. Now that's fairly standard. MacBooks are the same for this sort of thing, and that has to be pushed back over all these nipples that YouTube's going to demonetize me like hell now. And then you have this strengthening frame on the back, and then your main board and all that goes on top. Have a look at the microscope view of these particular plastic bits that I'm talking about. But yeah, it makes it exceedingly difficult to do a nice job of repairing these things. It used to be so like that. I'll give you an edge-on view. Yes, you see, what would happen is, so I heat that up and I pull the keyboard out, but then it just sort of flops back down, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to find some sort of mechanical, maybe a pair of tweezers, not tweezers, pliers with a recess in them, maybe crimping pliers, and heat it up and then sort of like bring these back up so that you can then put the keyboard back over it and then heat them up again and press them back down. Yeah, but it's just a really god-awful design, really. I mean, it's economical, cheap, but if you need to replace the keyboard, preferably what you do is you replace the whole deck. So you get this with the keyboard, with the reinforcement sheet, all as one unit. But unfortunately for this model, I wasn't able to get one, at least not in a hurry. So unfortunately, I've had to buy a replacement one of these, and wish me luck tomorrow. That's probably going to be my job. Well, if I can work out how to make it so I can reform those stakes, thank you for letting me use that word, then I've got a chance of keeping my sanity tomorrow. Did I replace this yet? I can't see any defects on this one. So I'm going to try it again, just in case maybe I hadn't installed it properly. 2-part epoxy and dab it on spots and let it set. Yeah, I suppose I could. It means I'll just have to like chop all of them off. I was just trying to not go for the whole chop them off routine. I wanted to be able to try and preserve it as it was. So I'll see if I can come up with something tomorrow that'll let me reform those stakes. If I can't, fine, we'll go for the chop off routine, but it'd be a nice experiment to try and make it work close to original. Crikey, I'm getting a little bit exasperated over this. Screw this back in. Just to stop the board flopping out all the time, which is getting a bit annoying. Alright, so we're going to try the MRI again. Let's see if that's any better this time. What? So we've got spin. Nah, something's really funky going on here. I don't understand it. And I don't know whether it's the keyboard interface on this board, whether it's the flex. Yeah, when you start getting to this time of the night and you're just not having a win, it's a bit of a warning sign that you probably should go to bed. Okay, Walter, take care. Yeah, see this spin time, this spin on time, that's too long. It should only be about 2 seconds and come down. So I'm gonna have to not use this board. I can't. We do appear to have cleared that EFI lock, but we can't seem to get good behavior out of even just that startup phase. So that's an immediate write-off. It's annoying. Oh, duh. Put a screw in it. Okay, this is where I need post-it note. But we'll write in black pen. No, the bin wasn't from another PC. Anyway, I don't have time to meddle with it. I'd rather just jump to another board. Very slow boot sequence. Check bias. Hey friend, it's a 3437. Anyway, put that one away. Not giving anyone that one. Alright, well, here we are back at square one. Let's see if we can find out what's going on with this board. It's very strange that it would lose backlight and chargeability. It's not the sort of thing I'd normally associate together. Especially out of the blue. Like I said, I've been running for 18 months as my compile machine. And then this person has it for 3 days and bam, it's dead. So what did you do to it? And it's a 3437, so it's a durable sort of board. It's not like it's a little snowflake 165 having a bad day. Yeah, Paul's naughty language is going to pick up pretty soon. Okay, spin up. Okay, so this one at least behaves properly on the boot sequence. It has energized the screen. I hate it when the hinges are a bit too soft. Alright, what the hell is going on? It's working now. Alright. Hey, Jason. Uh, Luan Dante, this is just a normal MacBook 13-inch screen. Okay, so we're going to have some sensor issues, obviously. Probably the battery, that's all it's going to be complaining about. Hey, Digimod. Okay, yeah, missing drive, missing battery. Okay, is the keyboard backlight meant to be flashing? Uh, oh yes, intermittent faults if you can't actually prove that you fixed them. That's the problem. Because you've just got to leave it on the workbench and keep testing, and hope eventually that okay, we haven't seen the fault recur in a long time. Yeah, have we fixed it? English Hedgehog, welcome. I haven't seen you for a while. Yes, the house is mine. It has been for a bit over a month and a half now. Things have just been a little bit topsy-turvy. Unfortunately, lost my father about 2 weeks ago. He just, out of the blue, just went down. We obviously been sitting on pancreatic cancer, and within about 4 weeks, that was it. Boom, gone. So that was fun and games. So that's sort of like why everything's been delayed at the moment, because just trying to. It's amazing how much work you have to do, even when you're not directly involved, in just trying to rebuild rebuild things for other people, like in this case my mother. And I'm not even actively involved that much, but it's still amazing how much time you have to take out for travel, particularly when you live out of town, dealing with all the medicals, dealing with everything. It's just amazing how many things like bank accounts, all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, fun and games. Yeah, it is unfortunate, but these things do happen. It's not great, obviously. All right. So why would this machine get itself into a state where it won't accept any power? Nothing would revive it, and now all of a sudden it's revived again. So it sounds like something's maybe a little bit, maybe a part isn't quite sitting on the board properly. For all I know, maybe the SMC's got some junk in it. And it's interesting that the backlight was not functioning properly, and yet now it does. That kind of wigs me out a little bit. No, this is a different one. The chip replacement board's over there. I'll look at that tomorrow. So I'm going to have a look over this one as my nose itches like crazy at 12:30 in the morning, and see if maybe something's been dislodged or there's something a bit corroded, and it's only because I move things around that it's all of a sudden becoming a problem. Because like I said, this has been going fine for 18 months. Which is why I was like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll sell this because, I've got a few others. I do want to get something like a Mac Mini so I can do all my compile work on instead of the laptops. Well, I suppose the laptops have the advantage of the fact that I don't need a screen keyboard or anything. It's a self-contained unit. I mean, overall, it's a little bit dingy. You can see it's got a bit of age. Bad contact, DC board, FFC can possibly. We'll give them a bit of a probe, hey? Yeah, jab them, see if they're... Yeah, it's something that's moved around, been fine all this time, and now it's not. Or at least it seems that way. There's a bit of junk on some of the parts, but we're just going to flick these legs, see if any of them move around. Warren, I'll need the Intel version though for compiling Flexboard View. I don't know if it's how long before I can get a Flexboard View for the M1 Max, but maybe the Rosetta thingamajig can actually cross-port the code, I don't know. Or cross-compile a binary at least. It's a 3437 board for anyone wanting to follow along. Interesting that resistors, the 10 ohm resistor is completely missing its... there's a bit of a hit on the 342. Not sure what to think of that. It could just be a case of there was a little drop of water or something on there. Most of this just looks like surface stuff. It's not actually defective cap or anything like that. But it's confusing me, the fact that, like I said, I got no backlight after it did finally come back. It was rather peculiar. At least I think it was no backlight, as opposed to an extremely low backlight. Is that a green tinge on there? No, it's a reflection. Maybe I'll just ultrasonic it again. See if I can dislodge something good and proper. That's just a random piece of dust. It's not... Okay, what's this black junk here though? That looks maybe like roach. Yeah, it's a bit of roach dung. I should taste it and test. Or something, maybe ant, roach, I'm not sure. And now it's getting jammed under my backlight driver. Digimod. Oh, thank you very much. Hopefully it makes you money pretty quick. Yeah, that's the main thing is, yeah, if you're just doing board repairs casually and stuff like that, then open board view is perfectly good. I mean, people gotta remember that the industry, for the most part, well, when I say industry, all the MacBook repair people, yeah, we all worked off that for many years without too many dramas. I mean, yeah, we complained it was a bit slow at times to go back and forth, but it was perfectly workable. And that's a crummy looking set of stuff there. What's going on there? I don't know how to express myself on this particular capacitor. That looks like it's fractured and fatigued. Yeah, that's definitely got some sort of running crack through that. Do you watch Tronics Fix? I don't. Funnily enough, when it comes to me watching YouTube videos, I tend to watch everything but tech stuff for the most part. Yeah, I'm pretty damn sure that that is a crack in there, yeah. That I'm willing to accept could explain it. And that looks like remnants of an ant. Yeah, that's definitely a bad cap. A pro engineer, it's not too bad. No, weather's actually been good this summer. Coolest summer we had in a long time. Sadly enough, though, it's like still a hot summer. That's what scares me, is that even on our coolest summers, we're now pretty hot. Pardon me. Jason, what sort of faults are you getting with the open board view? But yeah, with the flexible view, it's like I figured if you don't do it commercially, then open board view should be fine. If you do actually make money out of it, then you should be able to purchase a copy of Flexboard View on the profit of pretty much your first repair. If you can't, then certainly your second. If you're not doing that, then, well, you might want to rethink your pricing structure. Okay. Oh, right, now I know what I want to do. I want to check to see what that cap is for. Because I know it's faulty, but I want to see what it's for. Failure to open file. That's kind of weird. I'm just going to bring up a 165 board view schematic. Now this is on the ISL. It's this one here. And you are on VHST. VHST. I'm not sure what VHST actually is used for. It's 1 microfarad. 10 volt 402. No, so I'm not exactly sure what the VHST pin is used for on the ISL 659. I don't know what it means. But yeah, that cap is crap. So we'll get that replaced. That kind of makes me feel a bit better that I found something. Interesting that it was a bit fuzzy looking too. Oh, crikey, here we go. Microscope. Oh, I'm going to melt my put all plastic here. Oh, it makes me sad. Don't. Yeah, I'll try to save you. You just curled right back into the fire. Hey Greg, how's it going? Yeah, Greg, I'm right there with you. Completely, utterly get you. I'm still not having absolute wins with my, what do you call it, courier issues either. I mean, at least in my case, I've got a human that I'm talking to and they can see the problem I'm having. And even they're like going, wow, we can't believe it's taken this long. But even with all that, I'm still not getting my packages picked up. We'll take this one. Very high speed. Travis retracted that. We saw that, Travis. We saw you say that it was very high speed transit. It's in our minds now. We know what you wrote. You can't hide it. VHSD is a +5 input pin. But why is it called VHSD? That's what I'm trying to work out. What does it stand for? I suppose if I just look at the data sheet, I'll find out. Or are you saying on the data sheet it is actually just +5 volt input? Alright. VHS. I got that. Yeah. That was funny. I suppose the question in my mind is, how would that affect the backlight? Or maybe the backlight thing was just purely some sort of coincidental defect when I was meddling around with the board. So that's the other hard thing with repairs, is you've got to filter out what are purely coincidental events or defects. Yes, things that aren't actually part of the fault. They just happen to happen just out of the goodness of Murphy's Law and the power of the universe doing its very best to make sure you grow old before your time. Hey, Greg. Let's have a look at this. Just having a look at that data sheet now. Thank you, Damaris. What? Link me to all data sheet? Jeez. I thought you were going to link me to linear directly. Oh, the analog devices now. What? That did not get me to where I thought it was going to take me, Greg. Damaris. Now I have to explain that to my wife. Jason's, if you've got open board view and you're trying to load those BVRE files, that won't work. You will need, in that badcap site, there will be another link or zip file containing just BVR files for the same devices that you're looking at there. The BVRE ones, they are encoded, encrypted, and they can only be decoded with the engine that's in Flexboard view. But yeah, there should be a link a little further along for just the BVR files. I need to spend the time and create an actual BRD exporter. So that it'll be the same as MacBook files that we're used to. But there are priorities that get taken up elsewhere. But yeah, Jason, I guess you're looking at the Fruity Phone files. And so yeah, there will be a Open Board View compatible package of those. Check the Open Board View compatible versions first. Make sure it's what you're after, because to be honest, those Fruity files, there's a few good ones in there, but they are still fairly limited, and they're certainly not up to the data levels of like the likes of ZXW and stuff like that at this point. So I would be remiss to advise you to buy Flex Board View.